we do have to keep moving forward, but I do think having a support team, having mentors, having coaches, having therapists, having people in our circle that we can communicate these things to can really help us when we're in those moments.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Empire Life podcast. I'm Allison Ramsey, your host and founder of Empire Life, where we scale women-owned businesses and mentor them in scaling their businesses. Today, we're with special guest Bridget Sicsko. She's a speaker, publisher, and co-founder of Visibility on Purpose, a PR and media training hub for CEOs and founders to learn how to get more exposure for their brands, and that they don't have to put countless hours into building these brands. And I'll hand it over to her to introduce herself a little bit more.
Thanks for having me on the show. Yeah, the whole idea is we put so much time into building these companies and these brands that we love. And we teach business owners how to land their own media, like get on podcasts and really pitch themselves in a way that not only feels good reflecting on their story, but so they can get more exposure for the business that they've been building for years.
Yes. And I want to dive right in because the first question, I also want to spin it a little bit about what you see. So some challenges that you've had in becoming more visible and some things that continuously come up for your clients and maybe why they're in the shadows or would rather kind of be a wallflower. I want to dive into that.
I mean, I think it's interesting because no matter like what level of business you're at or what you've accomplished, whenever you are doing something new, it can be scary. You know, I've spoken in front of thousands of people throughout the years, in person and online, and there are still those moments that are, you know, when you're gearing up to do a talk, you know, people are going to be listening, all eyes are going to be on you. It feels really overwhelming. So even if you have all the media preparation, you practice, like those human feelings are just natural and they're going to be there. So I think like an interesting thing that I've noticed along the way is that to give yourself grace in those moments, even if you've done all the things, if you've had the mentors, if you've invested the money, if you practice like all of those things, it's still just human of us to get nervous before we do something new, especially when it's something related to visibility where everyone's looking at us.
Yes. And I love the example about speaking. Where does that come into play with, let's say, publishing a book or everyday social media, just kind of putting ourselves out there?
Yeah. I mean, being a business owner, you have to talk about what you do, right? Whether you have a brick and mortar business where people are coming into your store and you have to be the one saying, hey, like, welcome into the store. Happy to have you. Like, these are our products over here. Or if you're an online business owner, you have to be able to communicate and speak about the work that you do. So whether you are, you know, speaking on a stage and that's your goal, whether you're getting on a podcast like this and you still get nervous to talk about what you do, or whether you're having like a sales call with a potential client, you know, being able to have the confidence to speak about your work is very underrated, yet it informs and impacts every single thing we do. And one of my first jobs out of college was working at Yelp, and I was doing cold calling phone sales, 100 calls to business owners a day. And I learned a lot about talking and speaking and communicating, even when it was so scary to do so.
Yes, they don't even know you. And then we're having sales calls and they actually have signed up for the call and know us. And we already kind of have our foot in the door. I feel like I have a mantra about it. And I always tell myself, if I or my team doesn't say something about how we can support the prospective client, someone else will.
Absolutely.
Like they're going to become someone's client, of course we want the best fit for them, but when it comes to the confidence to put ourselves out there, someone's going to do it. So it might as well be us that says something. If they're already there, we're already talking to them.
Right. We didn't start businesses for no one to know about them.
Exactly. Is that what you tell your clients?
Absolutely. It's like we cannot hide. I mean, everyone has different reasons for going into business, whether it's like strictly financial, but a lot of the times the people that we work with have some sort of like inner conviction and deeper connection to the work that they're doing. And I think that can be also sometimes why it's harder to be visible, because you care more, right? Versus when I was selling
True.
Yelp advertising, it wasn't my company. I had no tie to like the company succeeding overall. Obviously, like it was commission based and salary. So I did have a little bit of skin in the game. But I feel like, and this is probably for your clients as well, it's like they care so much about what they do that that aspect of visibility and being seen and talking about their work can be a little bit more nerve-wracking.
It's nerve-wracking. And I think something else that comes to mind is I'm scared of rejection, or they're scared of rejection. And I've had a lot of clients tell me, if I post more, what are the people who are already there going to think in my community? Are they going to think that I think that I'm better than them, or that I think that I deserve to make more money than I'm making already? I'm like, well, if they don't, I remind them, if they don't like it, they're going to get out of your community.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Or scroll on.
You said before that you have a mantra, and I'm also a yoga teacher and have been teaching for the last 7 years. So I love yoga, spirituality, mindfulness and health. This is very much part of my life personally. And, the study of sound with mantra is all about repetition, right? So in any kind of like religious tradition or spiritual tradition, they are repeating things over and over and over again. It's the same, and that's to change the subconscious mind. It's actually the same in advertising and marketing, right? When you go on TV and that same commercial is going over and over and over again so that you know the jingle in your head to, Cards for Kids, we can actually take that same philosophy and I think like separate ourselves a little bit from like it being all about us and being more about, hey, there's someone out there who needs your work and you need people to know about your work. So keep repeating. And it's not sexy, but it's going to get you far.
That's a great point. I think something we forget, another kind of mantra that I have is, if I keep repeating it and I keep putting myself out there, it may not be, for me, it's the 10th time maybe that I've said it, but it most likely is the first time that someone's seen it. And that's something for the audience to remind themselves of, that yes, for you, it might feel that you are a broken record, repeating yourself, or you just feel like you keep putting yourself out there. Is anybody listening? And then you have that person who reaches out and says, I just saw that. I didn't know you were up to that. You're like, I've been saying this for 7 years. Okay. I'm glad you saw it. And the more that happens, you start to realize that it's a pattern.
Absolutely. I love that. And a lot of people do feel like a broken record. But also with algorithms these days, like not everyone's seeing it. And how amazing is it when people reach out to you or email you and say, hey, I seen you've been talking about this a lot. Also, the repetition in content and dissemination of a message builds trust within the potential consumer, because they go, oh, wow, this person's like really like they believe in what it is that they're doing. So repetition and consistency are necessary in marketing and visibility for a business.
Yes. And we were talking about content batching, or maybe time blocking time to content batch. And that helps, I think, leading into that topic, that helps people to have that consistency when they're with their kids, or, doing something else, or hanging out with their dog. They still have content coming out, which is really important to plan ahead, instead of feeling, because I've had that feeling before, where I need to be on my phone all the time, even to my like wrist fall asleep, or my hands fall asleep, then I realize, what am I doing? I've been on my phone for 30 minutes, doing, maybe I can have an hour a day, and then, content batch for the whole month.
Absolutely. And I think, content batching and planning in business, I think also helps take the emotionality out of it, where, a lot of business owners, when they're the founder of the company and it's a very like founder facing company and a personal brand, it can be easy to be like, oh, I'm not feeling invigorated today to post. We don't need to worry about that when we've actually pre-scheduled a lot of the content for us. And I find that that's super helpful. Like my business partner, Lydia, was just in Spain and Portugal for the last 2 weeks. And we had, things coming out every single day where she didn't have to worry about it. She can be off her phone. I can be doing other things. And it just feels, honestly, it's like a breath of fresh air as a business owner to have systems and things set up in the business to help you stay consistent.
Yes. Yeah, we'll go into that in a second. But I want to know, this is kind of more of a personal question. Do you feel like it's important to have a morning routine?
Hands down. I mean, I've been an athlete my whole life. I do yoga, meditate, walk, have my coffee, journal, work out. Like that is a non-negotiable for myself personally. And there's a saying in the Kundalini yoga tradition that we do the hard in the practice. And if you're not familiar with Kundalini yoga, for anyone listening, it's a type of yoga that has mantra, mudra, which are hand gestures, heavy breath work, poses, and some of these things we hold for a long time. Like you'd be holding your arms in the air for like 3 to 11 minutes. And the saying is that we do the hard in the practice so that we can handle the hard of life. Right. So that we can handle whatever comes our way. And it's the same for people, I think, who have like an exercise routine or some sort of, routine that just keeps them grounded. And with that, I think we can handle all the things that come our way as a business owner, right? Like putting out fires, answering emails, things that aren't going well that we need to fix during the day, showing up for clients. Like there's so much that happens as a business owner. And I think it is crucial that we have, just the foundation of who we are beyond business starting our day.
Yes, I like that. Who we are beyond business. That's great. I have that working out. Sometimes it's later in the evening if I have to do something first thing in the morning or an appointment or something. But it's a non-negotiable. It's like nobody texts me, nobody talk to me. I have to get this done. And I always feel better after.
Always. You never regret it. Never regret it.
And right now, this week, or while we're recording this, we started doing gluten-free, dairy-free in our house. And so that's right now a non-negotiable.
Yes.
For everybody.
Good for you. That's awesome.
Yeah. And it's a big commitment.
I hear you. I hear you.
Do you do that too?
So I've been on a health journey for a really long time. And part of my, personal story is having Lyme disease at a very early age. So like mid-teens, when you're trying to figure out who you are, I was going to endless doctors trying to figure out, what's wrong with me. And because of that, I went on a holistic healing journey, leading me to acupuncture and food as nutrition and herbs and just understanding that what we put into our body and into our mind matters, which led me to yoga and business as a result. But yes, to answer your question, I do those things too.
Wow. And you've been since mid-teen, or like when you went to college, you were also?
No, I'm like on and off. My sister has celiac.
Okay.
So she has like a gluten allergy. My mom has a gluten sensitivity. So I tend to just it's not really part of my life. If pizza comes in front of me, I might have a slice, but it's not, I was basically raised not eating that way. You know what I mean? Because of my own health issues. So I hear you from, having to restrict things in the diet to make yourself better. Because I did have a period of having to do that when I was sick.
Yeah, we're all battling some inflammation.
Yeah.
And we're all aiming to get that under control for various reasons. And it seems like it's really helping.
I love that.
So far. Great. And we also do acupuncture, mindset. I'm always doing mindset work and try to do that with my daughter too. She's in her mid-teens.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's an incredible time for a young person to learn these modalities, because it's challenging as a teenager. You're trying to figure out who you are and your place in the world.
That's true. We do herbal medicine, homeopathic medicine. Yeah.
Wow,
I didn't even know we had that in common.
I love this. Yeah, I'm doing a year-long herbalism course right now.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
that's great. I have a master's in natural medicine, which includes like herbal medicine, homeopathic medicine, holistic kind of nutrition. And my first 2 businesses were related, like purely related with that. The second one was more related with tech and nutrition. And then now I'm full into business mentoring. So this is my 3rd company.
Wow, we have so much overlap, Allison.
Yeah, we do. This is so amazing. I still utilize that with myself, with my family. I mean, we have, my husband calls it Allison's apothecary in the corner. We could open up our own herbal store. Like, I just recently went to a naturopath, and honestly, I have more vitamins here in our house than she has in her office. So, to tell you how much we actually, store, because I'm making vitamins for all three of us for 2 weeks at a time now, because I was doing it every Sunday and it takes about an hour. So it's like, if I just do 2 at a time, then it'll be every, just twice a month that I have to remake them. So we all take different, vitamins in the morning and at night, and then a lot of different herbs too. Some for men and teens and women, and different kind of hormones. But yes, I'm really into that. And I think it's an integral part with being an entrepreneur, because another mantra is like, health is wealth. And everything I do towards my health, I'm going to increase my capacity for holding more space for more clients and more abundance. And it's just more of the great things in life that we need space for.
Yep. And without our health, what do we really have? Can't enjoy things as much.
Exactly. And this leads me to the next question. What do you do when you feel any resistance coming up? It could be anything that that comes up for you that you might have resistance around.
I love this. We're also human. I feel resistance many, many times. Resistance a lot of the times comes up for me. This is me. Some opportunity comes my way and I say yes immediately because I am so excited about it. I take messy action. Like, I drive things forward, right? Get an idea, move things forward. It's one of my greatest strengths. But what I have to learn along the way is everything I have to learn along the way. And as I start, saying yes to things and getting opportunities and doing new things, I find a lot of resistance during those times because I don't know all the answers. And that's uncomfortable for me not to know all the answers. So resistance for me usually comes up when I've said yes to something and I don't know how to do it. So I have to sit back and let my ego move out of the way to figure it out. Or when I'm about to speak somewhere and I'm like, why did I say yes to this? I'm so nervous. So for me, this is where having those holistic practices really, I think, supports. Like I mentioned, I journal every single morning. I'm a big believer in needing to literally pull out what's in the mind and the mental loops that are, permeating the thought and going around and around. Getting them onto paper is normally my step one. Then next step is to have support. So I have a therapist, I have a coach, I have an incredible husband, and I have incredible friends to be able to communicate when I'm feeling these things. Because I find, and I'm sure you've had this experience too, when we're in the moment, it's really hard to see all the options in front of us. It's hard for us to take that outside perspective. So I love asking people hey, what do you see here? Can you support me? Or can you just amp me up as to why I can do this thing? So I love having, a support system. And at the end of the day, there's another Kundalini mantra that says there's a way through every block. And, we've heard this one, the only way out is through. So we do have to keep moving forward, but I do think having a support team, having mentors, having coaches, having therapists, having people in our circle that we can communicate these things to can really help us when we're in those moments.
Yes, yeah, and I have had a lot of those experiences. And that's one of the huge reasons why I started my business or my Facebook group, and I'm going to do another mastermind. It'll be my third time to run it in 2024, is that feeling of being isolated myself, or feeling, like you said, those loops or those things that are always going on in your head, and that can lead to us feeling, is this only me that thinks this? Right. And I can't share this with anyone because what if they think XYZ, or that's just me, that they think I'm crazy, or I'm the only one feeling this. And then these loops just keep going, which lead to us feeling more and more isolated. And if we have other people who are, because I think friends, while I love my friends and I feel very supported, sometimes they don't connect with me as much on the business level, or just this inner fire and unquenchable ambition that I have, and all these ideas that I want to start more companies and further in the future. And that's all I can think about most days all day almost. And so we need to be around people who different circles is for me, different circles such as a mastermind can bring community together to help us to feel less isolated, make lifelong friends, different partnerships, joint ventures.
Absolutely. We need the people around us. It's so
therapists, like you said,
yeah,
which I have too.
Yeah, I love that. We're so similar, Allison. All the business ideas. And you said unquenchable thirst. I was like, I hear you.
Yeah. It's unless somebody has that, I think it can lead somebody to feel very isolated if you bring it up to people who maybe they're very content with how things are going for them in their life, and nothing wrong with that. But they may, isn't this good enough? Or I've had people ask me that, isn't this house big enough for you? Or isn't this car nice enough? Or why are you not just content fully that you can sink into the moment, which is something I'm working on, of being more present and appreciating and being grateful for what I have in tandem with, I know the potential or the possibilities, and it's okay for me to manifest or think about that in the future while still being really grateful for the present moment and what I have and how far I've come.
I love that.
Which probably yoga and for myself, meditating really helps me to do that too. Taking that time because it can be easy if you're always thinking about the future or something you want to accomplish, to not take the time to celebrate even a small win. Even like recently, a person reached out to me to become a one-on-one client, and that even without them signing the contract or yet becoming my client in this moment, the perspective or the prospect of that they saw my content and they felt compelled to say something, that's still a win. And I didn't used to see it like that a few years ago. Be like, no, don't tell me that's great. Like if someone told me that, because it's like, she hasn't signed the contract yet. Don't say anything yet.
Mm-hmm. I used to, in my journal in the morning, I was in a challenging moment in business and feeling really overwhelmed. And I started making a receiving list in the morning. So on that receiving list, I'd write down everything I was receiving, from financial wins to conversations like this, to going for a walk with the dog. And it's basically a gratitude list for the smallest of things that we tend to, overlook. And I think that this is the challenge for us as multi-passionate, serial entrepreneurs. We are always thinking about how to make something better or build something again. And to do that, we're always striving for something better, or something bigger, or something different. And I also have that same need. This is why I love working with therapists, to be like, hey, what's going really well right now beyond you building anything else? What's the beauty in the present moment? And you're right, that's the power of mindfulness or meditation. And I think that we can have both. I'm not really part of the camp of, the spiritual martyrs and not getting paid for the services that we offer. I think that we can have both.
I completely agree. I've seen both sides. That there's an extreme, maybe it feels unhealthy. I was going to say unhealthy masculinity, but I think it could be women or men. I think that if we are too extreme on, I have to make money at all cost and all the time that it takes away from my family or away from, say, working out or my health, I think I don't know if it's balance is the best word, but I think there's a way to work it out, for sure, that we're still feeling spiritually, emotionally, physically, and financially in alignment with our true desires.
Yeah, I love that.
And making a lot of money flowing in at the same time.
Yeah, because we can do a lot of good with money and resources. We can.
Yes. I think especially women, I'm going to put that out there. I think communities and families are really benefited when women are more successful and feel more in alignment with what they're doing in the world and their purpose. And I want to dive into the next one, Bridget, about your childhood story, reflecting why you do what you do today, which is one of my personal favorites.
Yeah, I was thinking about this. It always brings me back to the fact that my parents are entrepreneurs.
Oh, wow.
Like, this is just how my family thinks. And it's always really interesting when my husband, is around my family. Like, we'll spend a family dinner thinking about a new business. Like, that's just a normal thing. So it's no surprise that I am the person that I am today, doing multiple things, having multiple businesses as well, and always coming up with new ideas, because that was my family growing up. So my dad has had multiple businesses. My mom has been a part of multiple businesses. Creativity in the mind was just like the most natural thing growing up. And, my challenge, just like you said before, is when the people are like, yeah, but aren't you okay with just like this? And I'm like, yeah, but there's so many opportunities in this world. And I think we make the world a better place through, creating businesses and innovating things. So I think it's a beautiful thing. So the childhood story is just bringing it back to the kitchen table as a kid, where we're having dinner and we're literally talking about businesses that we can create. And then that directly informs just the person that I am today. Wild creativity, always thinking of something new. And business is like the most exciting thing for me to think about and talk about. So like, I'm listening to all the podcasts. This is the conversations I love to have with friends. And, I saw your question before we started and I was like, this isn't a profound story, but it is why I am the person I am today, just my family.
And so it was really normalized, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
You didn't think anything different.
No, I actually was thinking back to the time, like, when have I actually worked normal hours or had someone else telling me what to do? It was really only during college internships where I worked for startup companies, like for incubators, which makes perfect sense also. It was like VC incubator companies, and then working at Yelp. And then from there, I quit and just went off on my own anyway. So yeah, this was the norm. And my husband comes from a family where everyone has a 9-to-5 job. And it's really beautiful to see both. I think it's a nice balance because I do, with entrepreneurship, there's uncertainty, there's risk, there's challenges it's a roller coaster at times. So I do appreciate now having both perspectives, in my life with my husband and his family and my parents.
That's super unique. And I hope the same for my kids, if I have more kids, and for my daughter right now, that she has said to me sounds like a lot of similar things to what you're saying, because she's always seen me as an entrepreneur. I started my first official LLC when she was a baby. So growing up, she came to meetings with me, met clients, was on the iPad while I met clients on the side of us, listened, was, I guess, kind of half listening to the conversation. Had to make conversation with clients sometimes, was at speaking events when I was speaking, watching me speak. And it's just part of her life. It's so normalized that now that she's in her mid-teens, she's starting to think, well, I think part of it, she was kind of rebelling a little bit in her earlier teens. And she would say, well, I'm just going to work a 9-to-5 because I've seen you have ups and downs, which is part of entrepreneurship. And I'd be like, yeah, it's true. You're right. It's part of it. And I've learned to manage that stress better than probably I did when she was really little, because that was my first company and it was really difficult to not always be thinking about that. And I had to learn to be more present, with her and kind of compartmentalize, like, that will work out. I know everything works out. I need to put that to the side and focus on her being, 1 years old right now, or 1.5, and playing with her and enjoying the time. But at this point, and she's thinking about college, she's thinking about what she wants to do. She's like, you know what? I actually can't imagine going into the office. She's starting to put the pieces together.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And sometimes we need the experience to know what works for us, right? Like, I'm glad I had more corporate experience as well, because I think it also helped develop my business mind. And I'm also happy that I don't necessarily need to report to anyone or show up at an office in New York City 5 days a week and have a 3-hour commute.
Some people do that where you live. Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's like normal.
That's
so a lot of
normal. Wow.
They work in New York City and then they live in New Jersey, or they live in either north of New York City in New York State or in Connecticut. So that's like the tri-state area, and we tend to have a lot of people working in the city.
That is a long commute.
Oh yeah, not interested.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I guess they read books on a crowded, or maybe they can't because it's probably really crowded at that time. Another benefit of entrepreneurship.
There we go.
Yeah, I can go to the grocery store in the middle of the day. I can plan a vacation when my daughter's out of school on a random Monday. I mean, it's very different. Or pick her up in the middle of the day from school and have a long conversation, go to Target spontaneously, spend some quality time with her when nobody's there. I think she's starting, like you said, it really clicked for me about how that's true probably for kids that grew up around that, as I personally didn't grow up around it at all. Mm-hmm. And it's that in itself has led me to want to create a bigger online community for other people to support each other, and also that I need that support too.
Right.
My parents saying, really? Why would you want to do that?
Yeah, that experience is not uncommon. I talk to a lot of people.
Heard about that?
Yeah, that's their experience. But people can only have a perspective from their point of understanding. If someone's never been an entrepreneur, they don't understand it. They don't see the benefit of the risk that we take or of the ups and downs. They don't see that. You can only have that for yourself. And yeah, this is why that's why we need community, because you're not alone in feeling that.
Yes, exactly. I'm grateful that my husband at this time is extremely supportive of it, even though he's wanting to start his own thing, part-time or full-time eventually. I'm rubbing off on him.
Yeah, as we always do.
As we always do. He had thought, maybe that's something I can do a lot later in life, after I have a certain amount of money saved. And he's starting to have all these new creative ideas about how to start companies now, and we talk a lot about it. And he is coming from a family. Well, his dad is really a really successful entrepreneur, but he kind of saw that, was like, nah, I don't want that life. I want the stable 9 to 5, and I went in a different direction. And it's interesting how his dad and me connect a lot on that, but it's kind of in reverse.
Yeah,
that's my family's like, I would have liked you to take that path that he took. But they started, this is my third company, so they're starting to come around a little bit in their understanding. Mm-hmm. But if you were starting a new business today, Bridget, what do you feel like are the top 5 things that you wish that you would have known before?
Okay, I would probably hire a bookkeeper or an accountant or some financial person to support, or at least have QuickBooks. What we're not taught in school is doing our own taxes and financial reports. And this is the basics. Numbers don't lie, money doesn't lie. So I would make sure that is, on point, and I understand profit and loss statements. I get it. I would want to know that. So maybe just invest in QuickBooks. I can say number 2 because my business partner and I just officially started Visibility on Purpose in 2023. Although we've been collaborating for the last 3 years, one of the things that we did right away was not open up. We use a platform called Notion. Do you know of it?
Yeah. My daughter's actually obsessed with it. She loves it so much.
Love that. So we use it for business. A lot of small businesses see a lot of success with it. So we basically have this, business hub where everything from our offers to communication to, social media posts, everything is in there so that it's very clear. If one of us needs to copy and paste what the business does, we can just go and copy and paste. We have contacts in there. We have affiliate, everything related to the business is organized in one place. And I think that's really important because we all know that, maybe you even get another computer and you're like, where are my files? Where's my EIN number? Those little things.
Oh my gosh, that's brilliant.
I know, right? So I'm a Notion nerd. If you have questions, let me know. So that's number two. I would set a business up on Notion so that everything is organized for the business. It's going to help support, team communication, internal communication, as well as external communication, aka how you market the business and talk about the brand. So that's what I would do. Number two. Number three, I would get extremely clear on the person that I serve. I work with a lot of, in the past, newer businesses who are spiritually based, maybe a yoga practitioner or a Reiki practitioner, and they want to help everyone. And from a marketing perspective, that is extremely hard unless you have a huge audience and a brand that is very well known already. So I would make sure that we know exactly who we serve because it's going to be way easier to sell our stuff if we do so. Number four, what would I do if I was starting over? I also would get professional headshots. Professional headshots from a branding and PR perspective are highly necessary, right? So if you have an editor who is looking at potentially featuring you in a story or mentioning you in their article, they want to see that you have a professional presence. They're going to look at your website and they're definitely going to want to see a professional headshot. So I'd get professional headshots done. It just boosts the authority and the trust on a website, and I think on socials as well. And then I would invest in lots of softwares that can do work for me. So like we use Kajabi and set up all our funnels through there. And I told you that we use Tailwind for Pinterest. So I would use as many of those automated platforms as possible so that I didn't need to be spending my time directly on those things. And I can instead be enjoying my life or serving clients, with that time.
Do you use ConvertKit with, what do you like for your emails?
We do use Kajabi. My business partners use ConvertKit. I do think ConvertKit has nicer functionality and a little bit more like user friendliness with the emails, but we just use Kajabi, so everything is in one place right now.
Oh, they have their own email platform?
Yeah. Yes.
I wasn't aware of that.
Website, courses, automations, affiliate. So we have like an affiliate program as well for our business. So, we have business owners sign up just through our Kajabi site.
Very cool. We use WordPress and then Divi with WordPress, but I have some when I was working full time too. So I have a business part time some of the time, and I did software development.
Okay.
So like coding. So I kind of like that. Yeah, I get the more of the tech side if I need to get that. So it does take a lot of time though. And I agree. I agree with you. I think that it's useful for people to do something that saves them time.
Absolutely. Because we should be, serving our clients. Obviously, we're going to need to spend time on marketing business. Like that's a given. But, we talked about before we started this call, batching things so that we have more time to not be doing that all the time.
Yes. Well, and what do you feel like are the traits that you personally that have helped you with entrepreneurship and in your company? As ambition is one.
I would say the ability to pivot as well. And I think that's where sometimes the ego could come in and say, no, I said I was doing this and I can't change my mind. But I think a very healthy thing for an entrepreneur is the ability to pivot, right? If the market changes with ChatGPT, does that change your business? Do you need to have a different offering? Do you need to have a different way of talking about your business? So I think the ability to pivot and not take it personally is a good thing. I also think discipline as a business owner is really important. That is the biggest change from, working 9 to 5 and reporting to someone and having things to do every single day. When you are the boss, you have to self-source what you spend your time doing. And you need to have discipline so that you're not only taking care of yourself, physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally, but that you are doing the things that you need for this business to make money, serve clients, operate efficiently, all those things.
Yes. Yeah. I've heard, and I've had some business friends that I was really surprised. I think one of the most surprising things I heard was that they were going to go see movies in the day if they just felt like things were quiet or they didn't have anything to do. I was like, how could you not have anything to do? I feel like my to-do list is never ending, and I don't remember the last time when they told me that. I was like, I don't remember the last time I saw a movie.
Not during the day.
Yeah, or during the day. I get upset with my kid watching TV in the middle of the day. Even on the weekend. I'm like, why are you watching TV in the middle of the day?
That's
you need
funny.
Something to do. Yeah.
Good for them. Good for them that they spend their time. That wouldn't be how I did it, but I do like to spend some time at the park sometimes, like midday with the
Oh,
dog.
yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
ooh, this is nice.
There's nobody there.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
me
I
and the
can let
dog.
my dog off leash a little bit because there's nobody there, especially at like 10, maybe around 10 because everybody's at work. But here it's so freaking hot that like a little later than 10 right now, it's still too hot. But that's a great time because everybody's already there's a few families and he loves kids, but I gotta kind of keep him away from the kids. He gets excited. He wants to go say hi.
Mm-hmm.
I think
That's
he's
cute.
only 8 months right now, so he's still technically a kid, I guess. And what do you think are some of the most overlooked strategies when someone wants to become more visible? That's something that maybe they just don't think about, doesn't cross their mind.
We talk about this with, PR and media exposure all the time. Most business owners, especially those who have used social media to grow their business and create a platform, they have no idea how to leverage the media to grow their business. And if you think about what that looks like, have you ever Googled your name? Like what comes up? And you have the ability to own some more of that digital real estate by pitching yourself to podcast hosts or editors or journalists or TV show producers, because those types of mass media channels are highly trafficked. Also, if you're an author, Amazon highly trafficked. So we have other strategies to get our business visible that does not include us being on social media all day long. And I think it's highly overlooked. And I think just because it's not really an industry that's very well understood, because most people, when they think about a publicist, they're thinking about, a company does something bad and the publicist needs to like shoot it under the rug. And what we're teaching people is that they can actually be their own publicist. They can represent their brand. They can get their name, into the media by being an expert and providing value to those outlets and publications.
Yes, that makes a lot of sense. And you were reminding me I'm actually kind of competitive. And I have Googled my name a lot, and I always joke with my daughter that since I started Empire Life, even this is my third company, I've put a lot more into thinking about the SEO and trying to learn about that and having that on our website, and then teaching myself how to do it, teaching my teammate now how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And every time we publish a blog, we do a lot of SEO around it on our website. And I think almost at the top. There's an Allison Ramsey who's an architect, and she has the most incredible SEO. And I think one time I've beat her SEO and I was above her because I'm a best-selling author now. We have our podcast on Spotify, Google Play. Like you said, all Quora, all those areas accumulated, we might be able to top her SEO. Well, she's doing something incredible for the last few years, but we actually have ranked a little bit above her the times when I've checked. So that's really exciting.
Yeah,
I did a lot of dancing when I saw it.
I mean, this is the good thing about having a last name that is hard to spell and is a little unique. When you type in Bridget Sicsko or Bridget Aileen Sicsko, you're going to find me really quickly.
That is great. That is great. I mean, I don't think Allison Ramsey's too common, but she's really successful. I'm gathering like really great at SEO. And see, you're right. If anybody's listening to this and you haven't Googled your name, it's definitely a fascinating thing to do.
Absolutely. You'll learn a lot, and you'll start to see like what ranks pretty highly. For me, it's like somewhat intuitive. It's like obviously sites with a lot of traffic are going to rank really highly. So we want to own that real estate too, or figure out a way to piggyback onto them. And like, that's the point of PR and media exposure in that way, is that you're basically leveraging bigger sites' audiences and providing value to them. So it's a win-win for both parties.
Actually, yeah. You reminded me, at least a few times a year, we have a writer now on the team, a copywriter, and Anne is her name. And Anne now, well, I used to do them where we would do like the top 21 female podcasters of 2021. something like that. Or in 2023, I think we did the top 23 businesses, female-owned businesses to watch for 2023.
Mm-hmm.
And then we craft a message and we send it out to each person that's featured there on every platform that we can find them on.
Mm-hmm.
Their support email, all the platforms that they're listed, and let them know, hey, we just really love what you're doing. We want to feature you. And some of those articles they bring, I mean, our website right now has in the millions of visitors, mostly to the blog, but especially those. Yeah, I send sometimes, a lot of times people don't believe me, and I send clients screenshots and they're like, what?
Yeah, that's
You're
a
not
really
like
good idea.
Amazon. Like, what the heck?
Yeah, but you're like linking to all these other sites too, because I'm sure you guys like link those authors, right?
Yes.
So that's going to support it too. That's a great idea.
We link them, their thank you. And you know, I want to support, that's my whole business. I want to support other female owned businesses.
Right.
And link them higher, you know, through my website too. So like you said, it's a win-win on their name. It's connected to LinkedIn. And then after we introduce them, we have, you know, every link we can find for them, their blog, LinkedIn, Facebook, and hyperlinked underneath their description of what they do.
Yeah, we do like we do student interviews of like past students who have come through our school, and they all get their own blog post. But I like your idea about connecting everyone together. I think that's beautiful. And like, you're just finding these people. Are they past clients of yours? Like, do you know them?
Some of them. Yeah, so it could be a mixture. I mean, first we look at previous clients, and then we look at our communities online. That's our preference. And then beyond that, you know, we want to sprinkle in some people that might not know about our community and they want to join Empire Life or become part of the community or get visibility, you know, in that way. Like Marie Forleo, we featured her on a few, and she's a highlight because she has the best team. They've always gotten back to us and thanked us personally. Or I don't know if it's her or her team. You know, it says Marie and Marie Forleo team. I appreciate that exponentially because we don't always hear back from the people that we feature or get a thank you. And that's not the point, to get a thank you. Right. But she's one of the ones that we featured a few times, and we've always gotten a lovely thank you, personal thank you note from her.
Love that. Great idea.
Thank you. Yeah, we need to do another one of those. Mm-hmm. I would like to do, they take the most time to write, to gather all those resources, but get the most traffic and visibility like we're talking about.
Yeah, I'm thinking that would be so cool to do like with every different industry, right? Because like our business specifically serves like a bunch of different verticals, whether it's like real estate agents or interior designers, holistic practitioners, like that could be very cool to do in different categories, you know, like the top interior designers in 2023.
Yeah, to watch or to keep an eye on or that you need to know about. There's also Jasper AI helps to write more catchy titles. There's a kind of, so it's giving me a lot of ideas about how to phrase that to make it stand out more with SEO and for the audience. And this has been such a great conversation.
I know.
It's just so amazing. And before we hop off, Bridget, what do you feel like are the top 3 concepts that you want to leave the audience with?
We didn't talk about this one today, but this is my life philosophy, my life mantra. Dream big and start small. So set those really big goals and understand that the way that you arrive at those big things is by planting the little seeds and just showing up consistently every single day for that thing. You water it, you'll watch it grow. It might take some time, but just keep going. That would be number 1. Number 2, I would say you're human if you get nervous around visibility, and just know that you're not alone. So find a community, whether it's the Empire Life community, whether it's our community, like there are people out there who support you and are also on a similar journey. So, you know, find your people and understand that you're not alone. And then number 3, you know, we've both kind of alluded to this, but entrepreneurship is quite a roller coaster, and it's definitely not for the faint of heart, but there is a deeper reason that keeps us going as entrepreneurs. And just know, again, you're not alone, but just keep building and keep moving toward your goals.
Amen.
Amen.
Great to wrap up there. And for everybody listening, we'll have all the ways to get in touch with Bridget and the Visibility on Purpose. What was the name of the other founder?
Lydia Bagarosa.
And Lydia Bagarosa, how to get in touch with both of them and their incredible company, because every company needs more visibility and tips and tricks for that you may not be thinking about.
Thanks, Allison.